Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Dear brothers and sisters, please be seated. We are about to begin the next session. This session will continue until 5:25, at which time we will break for Salat al-Asr. At that time we'll see how the crowd feels. If we have enough that want to return after Salat al-Asr, we may continue up to 6 o'clock. But if there's not much, if everyone seems to be tired, then we'll just end the event, inshallah. Because it has been a very long and very intensive day. We thank the Shaykh again for his hard work and his ocean of knowledge that he has provided. And without any further delay, inshallah, jazakallah khair.
We have that question. Read it.
There's a question here written. The question states, can you name the 3 types of dreams?
There's 3 types of dream. They are ru'ya, and this is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then you have whatever you keep speaking with yourself about it. يحدث المرء نفسه. And the 3rd type is called hulum, and this is from the shaitan. So you have 3 types, one from Allah, one from shaitan, and one from the nafs, from the self, when you keep speaking about it.
Next question is, Ibn Hajar collected a hadith about forgiveness guaranteed for the future. Can you name the book, please?
It's not a book called Risala, Al-Khisal al-Mukaffira للذنوب المتقدمة والمتأخرة. الخصال المكفرة للذنوب المتقدمة والمتأخرة.
The last question on the sheet states, can you name the 3 Sahaba who experienced Nawilni Dhira'a? Or Nawilni Dhira'a means give me another arm.
They are Abu Rafi', Abu Ubaid, and Usama ibn Zayd.
Should we take more questions? In regards to getting illumination or nur, we need to keep our gaze down. So could you please tell us whether we should say salam to all the opposite gender?
I think I answered this question before. I said whenever you are young, don't do it. When you are a little bit old, you may do it.
Sayyidi, are you always required to reply to the salams even if it's not audible?
No, only the one that it's legal when you are going to answer it. Otherwise, you don't answer it. And it's mentioned in many different sections, of fiqh books, in different mazhab about the positions that you don't reply that salam. Carry on. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. We will speak about some of the companion successors and scholars, in their practice. Since morning we have speaking about the theology of it. We spoke about some practice from the side of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now we'll speak about other practitioners, of the companion or the others, how did they practice, toward these matters. First example is Haritha ibn Malik. We have different narration of this hadith that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked him, how are you in this morning? كيف أصبحت? And he said, this morning I became a real believer of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, there's a truth to all these realities. What's the proof of your truth? And he said, as if I see the throne of my Lord, as if I see the people in heaven visit each other, as if I see the people of hellfire having those parking, you know. Before that he said, my nafs was turned away from this dunya, and that's why I keep fasting in the day and keep night prayer in the night. And then he described these three positions, you know, about seeing the throne, seeing the people of heaven, and seeing the people of hellfire. And then the Prophet ﷺ confirmed it by said, Abdun nawwar Allahu qalbahu bil iman. You are a servant, your heart, his heart has been illuminated by Allah. Arafta falzam. Yani you know now, you have the knowledge, keep it up. This is very famous hadith of Haritha. Most scholars, they said he is Haritha ibn Malik. Some they said he is Haritha ibn Nu'man, the one who was too nice to his mother. The other scholar, they said he is Haritha ibn Suraqa, the one who was killed in the battle of Badr. We have the story of Talha ibn al-Bara. He used to be a significant lover of the Prophet ﷺ. He used to come and wipe his face on the holy feet of the Prophet ﷺ, try to express and practice his love to the Prophet ﷺ. Why did I bring this story? I brought this story that myself, in my life, in this practice, I would like to practice my love to Allah, to practice my love to the Prophet ﷺ. When I see some people, you know, they of no practice of this, or they get surprised, or they get offended, or get this or that by this practice, really I feel the deficiency there, okay? I feel, to start with, I feel the deficiency in myself, inside myself, because I'm not good practitioner of this love. Okay, then when I see the others, we are in real need of this practice. The companion, they used to practice their love to the Prophet ﷺ. Not all of them, because as I said before, you know, some of them, they may just meet with him for an hour or so, and then return back to their family. The other, they used to have unique practice, you know, or their love to the Prophet ﷺ. This one of the practice. The other practice, as narrated in Darimi, that Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Umar, whenever the Prophet mentioned in front of him, is going to start crying. The tears start come from his eyes, and he will say, "Ma ra'aytu ajwada wala anjada wala amjada wala awda'a wala adwa'a min Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam." I haven't seen anyone who is more generous, more brave, more glorified, more handsome, more beautiful than the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. To be honest with you, this is Mawlid, you know. This is the way I look at Mawlid, you know. Just to remember the Prophet ﷺ and have those descriptions, you know, about him, you know. The other thing, to serve food or to have nasheed or this or that, they are secondary. Yani what we want from everyone, to have this remembrance of the Prophet ﷺ. When we remember Obama much more than the Prophet ﷺ, this is a real problem for a Muslim, okay? The other example of this practice of love, Sayyidina Anas ibn Malik, he used to see the Prophet ﷺ every night. As narrated, you know, he used to dream about the Prophet ﷺ every night. I would like to have this practice. I would like, yani here, I feel my deficiency. I'm not similar to these people, you know. Our way, you know, of remembrance the Prophet ﷺ, they are way down when they are compared to these people, you know. But this, I think, all of those matters, you know, in my view at least, they are going to be put under one way, which is the common practice of love of the Prophet ﷺ. We have in the same attitude, you should have the common practice of the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the common practice of finding your relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and these are the practical point, and perhaps that's why I brought these stories, you know, which narrated, you know, in the famous book of Islam, just to tell you how the companion they used to practice, and how the successor and those who came after, you know, they used to practice those facts that we mentioned it in theology, you know, before. Another one, Sa'd ibn Mu'az. What's about Sa'd ibn Mu'az? He said, 3 matters I'm a man about them. The rest I'm an ordinary man. What are they? He said, I never prayed any prayer and I have my mind or thought go away from the prayer till it's finished. I never follow any janazah, think about anything except it till it's finished. I haven't heard the Prophet ﷺ mention anything without knowing that this is the truthful comment given by him. Okay, when we have deficiencies, in these practices, to be honest with you, when I read the hadith, whoever pray 2 rak'ahs without speaking with himself, all of his previous sins, they are going to be forgiven. I was about to say it's impossible till I found the story of Sa'd ibn Mu'adh. When you find the story, no, it's not impossible, it's possible. It was practiced. It was done by some of the companion, by someone else. If it's not practiced by me, that's mean the deficiency from me. I cannot deny what did Sa'd ibn Mu'adh say. He is not liar. He is a truthful person when he said so. Okay, when I found myself and have all of those thoughts, go back and forth, in my mind, I have a problem. My prayer, just I set up my prayer. This is the way of following the Prophet ﷺ, to follow him only from the apparent way, from being making ruku' like the Prophet making sujood. This is the way of following the Prophet ﷺ, where قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. Do I have khushu' in my prayer? Is my prayer similar to the prayer of the Prophet ﷺ? Does it fit the criteria of the Prophet ﷺ? Some may say this is a prophet. Yes, we are entitled, we are obliged to follow him sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and all of his steps. We are going to go the same way. And here we gave this example about non-prophet's person, just to tell that this was the attitude and the practice done by many of these people. If we feel ourselves deficient or feel ourselves, in completely different time or different standard or whatever, this is our problem, not their problem. What is in my mind, I should make everything suitable to reach this noble target that they have achieved, that they have reached. Whenever I have any problem, I may be excused, in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala scale, I may not be excused. And this really bothered me a lot, that I may be excused or not excused, okay? The Prophet ﷺ, he said that the heaven is of 100 rank. Between one rank and another, like between the earth and the sky, or earth, the heaven, and the heaven, okay? That's mean we are not equal. Okay? When we practice Islam, we are not equal. You are going to find, I think this is the main difference. When we said spiritual issues of Islam, it's relation from Allah toward you and relation from you toward Allah. I think one of them is most perfect, which is your relation from Allah toward you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has been provided you with the goodness, the best of everything. Where we differ, not in this way, we differ in the other way, in our practice toward Allah, in our relation of Allah, in our confidence in Allah, in our knowledge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you name it. And here, that's why I believe, I have complete belief, even though I don't have it in experience, about what did Sayyidina Sa'd ibn Mu'adh say. Then you have this statement, come from Abdullah bin Abbas, and it has been massively narrated as such. He said, if I'm going to tell you about the interpretation of this verse, the last verse in Surah Al-Talaq, you are going to kill me. Okay? And here, what does this mean? This means many facts in your Islam, especially the spiritual one, may not be tolerated by the common people. And this is the specialty. When you have a neurosurgeon here, and he wants to speak with the ordinary people, about this, and he doesn't use his sophisticated way, because no one is going to understand him. Many, if they don't know who is the speaker, they look at him as ignorant one, or as a person doesn't know anything. Okay, this is very important point. As we know that we have the specialty in all aspects of our life, we should know it here. And this is initiated by the Prophet ﷺ. In one hadith, a Bedouin person came to him. He said, Ya Rasulullah, I don't understand your dandana and the dandana of Muaz. What's the meaning of dandana? You only have a voice going on and you don't understand what's the meaning. Okay, I don't understand your dandana. The Prophet is the messenger of Allah, should convey the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I don't understand your dandana and the dandana of Muaz, but I keep saying, oh Allah, may enable me to enter the heaven and save me from hellfire. Did the Prophet said, no, stop. I'm going to tell you what we are going to make dandana about. No, he said, حَوْلَهَا نُدَنْدِنْ. About it we speak. It did not be specific. Whereas the same person, the Prophet ﷺ, when he was making khutbah Jum'ah, and a person asked him, oh Rasulullah, teach me about the religion of Allah. What did he do? He interrupted his khutbah. He went down. He asked for a chair, sat on the chair to make the other side relax, and keep telling him, answering his question till he finished. Then he returned back and completed it. You see that the different attitude. Why did the Prophet ﷺ have different attitude? Because this something related to his message and should be well known by everyone. The other one is not related to his message, something else. He was speaking about something sophisticated between him and Sayyidina Mu'adh ibn Jabal, and that Bedouin person is not eligible to know it, and that's why he did not mention it. He said, we are making dandana around it. حولها ندندن. Okay, you see the difference in the answer, and this is support the idea when Sayyidina Ibn Abbas, he said, if I'm going to tell you about the interpretation of this verse, you are going to kill me. As a matter of fact, I should mention, in one sound chain, as mentioned by Ibn Hajar, he said it is sound chain. Ibn Abbas gave a hint about it and was rejected by the scholars. Ibn Hajar and the other, they said completely wrong. Even though the chain is sound, but we are going to reject this information. You see, this is in a sound chain. And this is originated, with Bukhari. Bukhari has a special chapter in the book of Ilm, in Sahih al-Bukhari, speak about these matters. And he narrated from Sayyidina Ali ibn Abi Talib, حَدِّثُوا النَّاسَ بِمَا تَسَعُ عُقُولُهُمْ أَتُرِيدُونَ أَن يُكَذَّبَ اللَّهُ وَرَسُولُهُ. Just speak with people about what is possible to be understood by them. You want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his messenger to be looked at as a liars? And then he narrated from Sayyidina Abu Hurairah that he took 2 containers of knowledge from the Prophet ﷺ. The first one, he make it available and he spread it all over. The other one, if he's going to make it as such, his neck is going to be cut. We should respect each other. We should know the specialty. We should have differentiation. We spoke yesterday about the different personalities of the Prophet ﷺ. Sorry, not different personalities, different tasks, let's say. Okay? As a messenger, he cannot keep anything away from anyone. And that's what he did when he has this khutbah al-Jum'ah, and he interrupted his khutbah and went down. Okay? As a prophet, he may keep away. Did he keep away anything from his prophethood? Yes. You read in Abu Dawud, Sunan Abi Dawud, that a person came to the Prophet ﷺ asking him about a dream, that he dreamt of something. The dream is part of the prophethood, as mentioned in the hadith Sahih. Then Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq said, "Oh Rasulullah, let me interpret this dream." He said, "Go ahead." And Sayyidina Abu Bakr interpreted that dream. When he finished, he said, "Oh Rasulullah, am I right or wrong?" He said, "Some areas you are right, some areas you are wrong." Okay, please tell me about the wrong areas. No, I'm not going to tell you. Yani, my surprise, some latest people, they try to bring what was wrong, you know, of Sayyidina Abu Bakr. If Sayyidina Abu Bakr did not know it, you are not going to know it. If the Prophet ﷺ said, I'm not going to tell you, what does this mean? He has failure in his conveying the message? No. He did not convey part of the prophethood to everyone. When you speak about him as wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Prophet the head of awliya, he may keep something, you know, some facts away of us. When you speak about his knowledgeable sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his knowledge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to be given to anyone. He's going to give everyone, you know, what is convenient for him. When the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam felt that is going to give interpretation of the Quran, you are going to freeze the whole Quran, he did not give interpretation of the Quran. Not because he doesn't know, because he felt that this is going to be more problematic to the nation. You see, yani here you have the two possibilities. You have the possibilities of being messenger, and by this the Prophet ﷺ did not keep away any of the knowledge as a messenger. You have the other task of the Prophet ﷺ. He may keep away some of them when he doesn't have the convenience. Do you imagine that the knowledge of the Prophet ﷺ is equal to any of us knowledge? It's impossible. You should feel the difference. The Prophet ﷺ, as narrated in Tirmidhi, and this is Tirmidhi, he asked Imam Bukhari about it, and Imam Bukhari said this authentic hadith, even though it's not Bukhari, it's in Tirmidhi, but he said this is authentic hadith. He has a push, you know, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he became knowledgeable about everything. One time he climbed the pulpit, you know, keep speaking, you know, about the events from his time till the hereafter. From Fajr time till Isha. Do you have this available? I challenge anyone. Do you have it available? This was said to the companion, and you don't have it nowadays. Your religion is deficient? No. You have your religion complete, because all matter of the message, all the matter of your regulation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has been mentioned by him sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Everything else, speak about the unseen, speak about the future, speak about some of these matters. You have gotten some of them, but not all of them. Okay, and this is we should be well aware about it. We should highly respect Sayyidina Ibn Abbas when he said so, and we should accept that narration from Ibn Abbas. And this is my surprise. This has been rejected by the scholar of hadith. Some of them, you know, because they don't have the ability to understand it, you know. And here Ibn Abbas did not mention everything about this verse, and yet it was difficult for some people to digest, to accept this, you know, and they have complete refute, you know, of it. So this is another example. Yani here, what I'm trying to say, you have certain knowledge given to someone from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is initiated in the Quran. وَفَوْقَ كُلِّ ذِي عِلْمٍ عَلِيمٍ. Regardless of how knowledgeable you are going to be, you have someone who is more knowledgeable. Some people may feel that it's only in their field. No, you have many different fields, you know, that has been opened by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Many channels has been opened by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And at any of these fields, you may find someone who is much more knowledgeable. Okay? And you feel this difference when you get yourself exposed to read in different book, in different style, in different expression. You are going to find the difference, you know. Then you have example of Hassan al-Basri again. What did Hassan al-Basri said as narrated by in Musnad al-Darimi? You have three types of scholars. You have three types of scholars. One is knowledgeable in Allah, not knowledgeable in the matters of Allah. Alim billah wa la ya'lamu amr Allah. You have another type knowledgeable in the matters of Allah, not knowledgeable in Allah. يعني هو عالم بأمر الله وليس عالما بالله. You have the third type, is knowledgeable in the Allah, knowledgeable in the matters of Allah. I look at it as specialty, okay? When you are graduated from Sharia college, or Sharia university, doesn't mean that you collected in yourself, all the knowledge. Most of the subjects given in these institutes, what are they? Matters of Allah. Namely, you may have fiqh, you may have hadith, you may have grammar or Arabic language, you may have any of those matters, But do they teach how to know about Allah, how to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? I think no. I'm sorry to tell you, even the Jum'ah speaker, the other speakers, you hardly find anyone speak about knowledge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, with full respect to these people, most of them, if they did not improve themselves, they are knowledgeable in the matters of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but they are not knowledgeable in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm not saying that the first one, they are perfect. Those who are knowledgeable in Allah and not knowledgeable in the matter of Allah, they have some deficiency. But for me, their deficiency is much better than the others' deficiency. When you are knowledgeable in Allah, not knowledgeable in the matters of Allah, at least in my view, you are much better off than being knowledgeable in the matters of Allah and not knowledgeable in Allah. But for sure, all of us, we should aim toward the third one, to be knowledgeable in Allah and knowledgeable in the matters of Allah. That's why to deny is too easy and too serious and too dangerous. Okay? To deny, say this is inaccurate, this is not easy one. Okay? To have good thoughts about the other is good one. Give you example of it about knowledge in the matters of Allah, not knowledge in Allah. Knowledge in Allah is much more broadened, much more complicated, and have many of those aspects. Why did I say much more complicated? Because Ibn Abbas said about one of these knowledges is going to be killed if it's going to. Again, Abu Hurairah said so. Okay, when they have such companion, they said so, are narrated in Bukhari and elsewhere. This means that it's too much more complicated. Okay, so to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So here, to have someone speaking about his knowledge in the matters of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't overlook. I gave this example about the knowledge in the matters of Allah. When Sulaiman ibn Malik was the Khalifa, the governor, the emperor, of the whole Muslim empire at that time, he came from Damascus to perform Hajj. He returned back to Medina al-Munawwara. I don't know, visiting the mosque or visiting the Prophet. Okay? So, he said, I want to meet with a person who met with the companion of the Prophet ﷺ. And they brought to him a person called Abu Hazim, Salama ibn Dinar, a very famous narrator of hadith. They brought Abu Hazim, and Abu Hazim really was sincere and open and truthful. You see, many of these people who join the politicians or join the governors, they adjust themselves a lot. Here you have Abu Hazim as primary, without adjustment. And that's why he was admired a lot, by Sulaiman ibn Abdul Malik. There is another scholar who used to join Sulaiman. When Abu Hazim mentioned about something, narrated something, he said, we never heard this. And this very famous scholar, many of the narration, they came through him. He said, we never heard this. What did Abu Hazim answer? He said, have you collected the whole knowledge? He said, no. He said, half? He said, no. Then he said, consider it from the other half. See? Here, denial is too difficult to do. Okay? Sometimes it may become serious thing, to do. Okay? Why? Because you may deny a truthful person. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ instructed us, whenever we have these statements, from the people of book, don't deny. Okay? Don't accept, don't deny. Okay? Yeah, you don't only have two choices, you have the third choice to be what? Neutral. You don't know. One day, Abu Yusuf, very knowledgeable person, the student of Abu Hanifa, he was in the presence of the Khalifa Harun al-Rashid. And two persons, they were speaking about an issue. And Harun al-Rashid, he said to Abu Yusuf, go and have your input, in this matter. He said, I don't know this matter. Sorry, I don't know this matter. He did not have complete denial of it. He said, sorry, I don't know this matter. Harun al-Rashid said, how come you don't know this matter? We give you this huge amount of salary, from the government, as a scholar, and you don't know this matter? He said, listen, Amir al-Mu'minin, if you are going to pay my salary according to what I don't know, you are going to spend on me the whole money you have available and not giving me my salary, I'm here getting my salary according to what I know, not to what I don't know. Okay? And this is, all of us, we should understand our limits. Okay? Even among the prophets, you have specialties. Okay? You read in Quran, and you have it in Sahih al-Bukhari, that Sayyidina al-Khadr told Sayyidina Musa, you are knowledgeable of certain matters I don't know. I am knowledgeable in certain matters that you don't know. This does not put Sayyidina Musa down. No. We, in our spoiled mind, we may think so. But Sayyidina Musa was great. Why? Because even though he was one of the most knowledgeable persons, in his time, he seeks to increase his knowledge, by meeting by Sayyidina al-Khadr. You see the positive look to it, and the negative look when you say, even though the speaker, he speak about this, those are all complete denial, all inaccurate. The denial is very easy way of doing, but it's very serious way, of having this matter. Again, I should ask myself and the other. I'm going to ask myself, the shuyukh that I met with them, all of them, they are knowledgeable in Allah? My answer is no. Okay? When you want to increase your knowledge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you should look at these persons. And these are quite few. Being knowledgeable in fiqh doesn't mean that you are knowledgeable in Allah. Being knowledgeable in hadith doesn't mean you are knowledgeable in Allah. Being knowledgeable in Quran doesn't mean you are knowledgeable in Allah. Okay? This is specialty, as other specialties, You say, where did it come? It did come from the Quran, it did come from the hadith, but we should have some sophisticated, some specialty, of understanding. It's not common for everyone, to have it, in the ordinary way. And that's why Ibn Abbas, he said, if I'm going to tell you about everything I know about this verse, you are going to kill me. Then you have Masruq. This goes with what we mentioned at the beginning of our talk. He estimates the knowledge in different way that we are estimating it. He said it's enough for person knowledge-wise, khashiyatullah, to be fearful of Allah. You see, he looked at it as this enough as in knowledge, and it's enough as ignorance for anyone to be proud of his. You have the two narration: proud of his knowledge or proud of his deeds. And Masruq did say, and some they narrated it as hadith. It's much more stronger as the statement of Masruq. Some they narrated it as hadith from the Prophet ﷺ. And here he give me at least different view, different look to the knowledge. I am as a person, I look at myself as such, I love knowledge. I love to have scientific way. I love to collect many of these data. I love anyone who memorized Quran or memorized Hadith or this or that. Here, he gave us inner taste of this, not outer one. The inner taste, what is it? About pride and about khashya to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One is negative and one is positive. The one who has the negative one, don't look at his knowledge. This is enough ignorance for him. The one who has the khashya that we spoke about it at the beginning in the morning, look at his knowledge. I may translate it to a practical point. When you ask such a person, who has khashya of Allah, let's see his knowledge is 10%. When he is fearful of Allah, if you ask him something that he'll say, I'm sorry, I don't know it. When you ask the proud person, suppose he has 99%, you ask him about something which is almost impossible to have 99%, about the 1%, he feels shame of himself to say, I don't know. He's going to answer you. Okay? Why? Because he has the pride. Okay? He feels ashamed of himself, to be called that I did not know it. Okay? You see the difference? And really, I see the wisdom, of Masruq by saying, كفى بالمرء علما أن يخشى الله وكفى بالمرء جهلا أن يعجب بعمله or يعجب بعلمه, as I translated before. All those meanings, even though may make someone disoriented or confused, and I'm trying to pick from here, from there, from different gardens, from different farms, just to make myself and the others aware about the inner factor, about the spiritual factor, about something which you cannot translate it, in a physical way, or that 1 + 1 is equal to 2. Okay, so we spoke about the companion, we spoke about the successor. The last point to speak about the companion, which is, if it's not mentioned by the Prophet ﷺ, I think no one has the ability to speak about it. The Prophet ﷺ, in one hadith, he gave examples of resemblance between some of his companions and some prophets. What does this mean? It means they inherited from the prophets, from the previous prophets, some stands, some positions, some circumstances. When he gave the example that Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq is similar to Sayyidina Isa ibn Maryam, is similar to Sayyidina Ibrahim, even to the angels, is similar to Sayyidina Mikael. This, to be honest with you, I feel myself, I don't have the gut to speak about it if it's not opened by the Prophet ﷺ. He gave example of Sayyidina Umar al-Khattab. He's similar to Sayyidina Musa. He's similar to Sayyidina Nuh. He's similar to the angel Sayyidina Jibreel. In other hadith, he gave example of Sayyidina Abu Dharr, similar to Sayyidina Isa ibn Maryam in his zuhd, in his abstinence. Okay? Yani here you have certain portion, you have certain criteria, you have certain fields. Those great prophets, besides our great prophet, they have a lot of fields, and they are going to give to this nation some of those specialties, some of their fields. So the Prophet ﷺ, he used to give the resemblance, by the outer shape, and the inner shape. He said in one hadith that Urwa ibn Mas'ud looks like Isa ibn Maryam. And the other hadith he said that Abu Dharr, he resembles, has a resemblance of Sayyidina Isa ibn Maryam in his abstinence, in his zuhd. Okay? Yani here, what I'm trying to say, he spoke about the outer and the inner. Of who? Of a famous prophet. Spoke about the outer and the inner of who? Of his companion. One companion looked like Isa ibn Maryam, the other companion looked like Isa ibn Maryam in one of the characters of his heart. And we should be quite familiar with these matters. So when you speak about abstinence, to be honest with you, I feel the deficiency in myself, and I feel the deficiency around me. One day back in Syria, I told them, in one duru, that I got that old. I never heard any of the khutbah, Jum'ah speaker speak about zuhud, about abstinence. One of those Jum'ah speaker, he was attending this, and he had the khutbah Jum'ah after it about what? About abstinence, about zuhud. To your and my surprise, he was criticized by some people. You see to what level we have reached? This is highlighted by the Prophet ﷺ as a way of gaining the love of Allah, to be loved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When that khatib spoke about it, which is a strange way, we are stranger nowadays. When he spoke about it, he was criticized by some of the audience. Do you feel that this is deficiency? To be honest with you, I feel this deficiency inside myself and in the surrounding, because I don't hear anyone speaking about it. Okay? And you have a great prophet like Sayyidina Isa ibn Maryam, who is too famous, in this matter. We just ignore him completely. I'm not here, to criticize anyone, but those followers of Sayyidina Isa, when they have a lot of gold in their hands, and all of those, I feel completely, this is completely opposite of Sayyidina Isa. They don't look at Sayyidina Isa by any way. And we as Muslims, we love Sayyidina Isa a lot, but we don't have this practice. And this shame on us, of having it. See? And this is part of our religion. For sure it's part of our religion. This mentioned by the Prophet ﷺ. I seek your guidance, Ya Rasulullah, to tell me about a way to be loved by Allah. And he told him about this way. Okay? And he mentioned this zahada in another hadith. And he mentioned it that you should be completely confident in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So all of these practices, sorry, don't misunderstand me. I highlighted zuhd here a lot, not to tell you that tasawwuf is zuhd or the spiritual matters they are zuhd. This is one component of it, okay? One chapter of many chapters, speak about zuhd. You see how we are bad in practicing it nowadays. What's about? In me, the more sophisticated, according to my opinion, the more sophisticated matters, our confidence in Allah, our love to Allah, our knowledge in Allah, our relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I think we are going to find much more deficiencies, when we speak about these matters. Then you have what has been mentioned. Here, you cannot ignore your history. You have persons in your history. You have Malik ibn Dinar, you have Rabi al-Adawiyya, you have this, you have that. You cannot ignore all of these people. They were not knowledgeable to best of our knowledge, We don't know. They were not knowledgeable of fiqh. They were not reference, of fiqh. They were not reference, of memorizing Quran. In the chains of the Quran, you don't find their names, and you name it, But here, can you completely have complete denial of them? They were some Muslims or not? The answer, they were great Muslims. They were highly respected in their time. In our time, they may be respected or not. Okay? But their practice not well understood for any of us. Okay? Here, such thing shouldn't deviate us, okay? I know about famous book, I did see it in Saudi Arabia. The author, he tried to show among the Hanbali people, those who used to be specialized in the spiritual matters. And beyond anyone's expectation, you are going to find plenty of them. If you ask me about experience, they are in the Hanbali mazhab much more than the Hanafi mazhab. This is my opinion about it. I may be wrong. Okay? Yani here, to look at people that you feel free to do this or that, I think it's a problematic. Okay? Because when you are given the choice to do this or that, you are going to miss significant portion of your religion, significant portion of the teaching given to you by the Prophet ﷺ. And by this, I'm not telling you are kafir. No, you're still Muslim, but you have significant deficiency, significant defect there, And as a Muslim care about your future, you should try to fix this. Why I keep speaking about it? Because to be honest with you, I titled it, before I thought, هل نحن محتاجين? This was the title. Are we in need of it? Why did I put it? In my experience, I feel as Muslim we are in real need of it. But I'm sorry to tell you, now I'm going to criticize the both sides. One side is going to have complete denial of it. The other side, they are going to have, in my view, the outer of it, the shape of it. They don't have the core of it. If you ask anyone about Sufism nowadays, he will say Mawlid and Ziyarat Qubur. This was not the case, during Junayd. This is not the real tasawwuf. Okay? I'm not here to condemn or confirm these practices, but when you ask about tasawwuf and receive this answer, the one who had this answer is completely ignorant, He doesn't know anything about this. Why? I blame the people, the practitioner, because even though they practice something that may be legal or illegal, okay, but here you are not giving the good picture, the good view, of tasawwuf as Sufi. Okay? And this should be as a criticism of this. Okay? I criticize them by this. Okay? I may not have a problem about many of their practices. I may bring the clue about it or the evidence about it, but this is not tasawwuf. And some of these issues, this is the practice of the whole nation. Tawassul. They think that tawassul is limited to Sufi. No. When you look back, you have Ibn al-Jawzi has tawassul, you have Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal has tawassul, you have many of those old scholars, they have tawassul. See, you have it in the both aspect. You relate something which is applicable for the whole nation, you relate it to certain portion of them, and you have something related to this portion. This may be practice, may be legal, okay, but this is not the core of it. The core of it, what is it? Knowledge in Allah. Find your relation with Allah. Practice your slavery to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are not doing so. I'm sorry to tell you, we are not doing so. We pray, we fast, we make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but it became like some duty dictated on us much more than to enjoy and feel relief in it. Much more than taste something, feel some stand. And this is mentioned in the Quran. You should feel the difference. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, وَكُنْتُمْ أَزْوَاجًا ثَلَاثًا. Not only in this life and the hereafter. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned about people of hellfire. People of heaven, He divided them too. In Surah Al-Rahman and Surah Al-Waqi'ah, He divided them two types. And when in Surah Al-Waqi'ah, He mentioned about certain activities in this life, to bring children, to plant your land, to drink water, to have fire. Why did He mention it, subhanahu wa ta'ala? Because they look to these matters which are natural activity, in this life, you are going to find the difference. How we are going to find the difference? This is not taken from me, It's taken from a very knowledgeable scholar. He said, the non-believers, what do they say about bringing children, about water, about Mother Nature? No Allah, okay? These are non-believer. What's about the believer? The public of them, the bulk of them, they believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but they tend to be heedless, whenever they have any of this practice. They feel themselves, that they have their involvement when their wives, bearing a child. They feel themselves, they have their involvement when they plant their land, when they drink water, and feel that the thirst is taken away. They feel some of their factors. Where are those who were mentioned at the beginning of Surah Al-Waqi'ah or at the end of Surah Al-Rahman? They feel the extraordinary in the ordinary. They feel the miracle of Allah. Subhanallah, when I drank water, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes the thirsty. They are in full remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all the time. Even when you have the ordinary activity, which is quite habitual for all of us, they are going to look at it as an extraordinary. And by this, they are going to have two components which are not available in myself. The first component, to have this continuous relation and remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they are going to be thankful to Allah. I may not thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when I came here and push the button and make the light come on. But those people, they may be looked at as stupid. Subhanallah, the light came on. Alhamdulillah about this, They are going to be thankful to Allah because they are going to look at it as extraordinary. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in that second half of Surah Al-Waqi'ah, He brought to us many activities, or four of the main activities in this life, and how the non-believer, they look at it, and how you have the two looks, from the believer people to those issues, which has been created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we should be bothered, about ourselves when we forget Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when we are not thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this matter. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he used to have it all the time. One time, a person brought golden coins, to Medina al-Munawwara. What did they bring? Golden coins. To a very poor society. They don't have enough thing to eat or whatever, and he brought golden coins. Right away, the Prophet ﷺ on the pulpit, he said, whatever so and so brought is not going to be beneficial to you more than the stones that are thrown outside. He did not look at the golden coins as something, is going to be helpful or improve the economy, or he said, just to make correction of your look, correction of your relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that this is not going to be beneficial much more than the stones which are thrown away, outside the city. And the Prophet ﷺ used to highlight many of those matters in a different way. In one hadith, that the person dreamt about, we look at the quantity, the Prophet ﷺ looked at the quality. In one hadith, a person dreamt about this authentic hadith. He dreamt about 100 dirham, silver coin. Go and take them from that particular place. This in the dream. He said, any blessing there, any barakah? They said, no. Forget it. I'm not going to take them. If there's no barakah, I'm not interested. Sorry. I ask myself, if I dream such a dream, I'm going to run, right away, and bring them, in a very easy way, Next time, second night, he has the same dream in different place. Go to that place, another place, and get 100 silver coin, Any barakah? No. Forget it. Third night, he dreamt about 1 silver coin in the third place. Any barakah? They said yes. Right away in the morning, he went there and got it. Okay? This is, what's the meaning of barakah here? The meaning of barakah to many of us, to have it keep going with us, This coin, to have it keep going with us. Whereas the barakah for those people, in my imagination, when you buy food in it, it's going to make you closer to Allah. When you buy clothes with it, it's going to make you much more worshipper of Allah. You see the barakah in the coins of the Prophet ﷺ. One day he went outside with 4 coins, to buy a shirt. And subhanallah, to make the long story short, he freed a slave woman and he gave a shirt to a poor person, and he had a shirt sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, Barakallahu fi hadhihi al-darahim فكسى بها نبيا وقميصا وكسى فقيرا قميصا وحرر امرأة. Okay? 4 coins, of silver. They are quite cheap, not hardly to buy a shirt. He bought a shirt, as a shirt for the poor person, and he freed slave woman by it. This is the barakah. Okay? This is what we should look at. I look at it, not only the inner matters in myself, this is the inner matter that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts the specialty in some things, some objects that we use. You have barakah in our time. Do you have barakah in our prayer? Do you have barakah in our children? Do you have barakah in our knowledge? Do you have barakah in our recitation of the Quran? And you name it. All of these matters, they need barakah. Again, I'm going to mention this because this, occupies something in my mind. They used to hear the tasbih when they eat the food. I cannot explain it. Shall we stop here for questions now? Yes, I think we will stop for questions. If you have any questions, then you get the opinion if they want to come back after Asr or not. Yes, go ahead. You have a question? Yes.
Maybe I'll wait till because it requires an explanation.
Okay. Other one has a question?
Sorry, I have 3 questions.
3 questions. Oh. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make barakah in them. Okay.
The 3 characters who were in the hadith, possibly Ya Haritha now or can you please rename the 3 characters in the hadith? Ya Haritha, who were the 3 possibilities?
The 3 possibilities, that is Haritha ibn Malik, and this is the strongest one. The other possibility was Haritha ibn Nu'man, and the 3rd possibility was Haritha ibn Suraqa.
And was this the night after the Haritha had traveled all night from Mecca to Medina, and this is the next day?
He traveled from Mecca to Medina.
Yeah.
He's from Medina to start with. I'm not familiar with this story. I'm sorry, I may be ignorant, about it, but I never heard this story. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. I don't feel it's that possible. You may have some of the, I know 4 of those Ansar, when they became Muslim, they moved from Medina to Mecca to live with the Prophet ﷺ. They are Muhajiri Ansari. But Harith is not one of them. Okay? Here, it may be as a possibility, even though I look at it as a remote possibility to have.
Who's the Sahabi who narrates the hadith about the tasbih of food that when he was
Sayyidina Abdullah bin Mas'ud, as narrated in Bukhari. Abdullah bin Mas'ud. We used to hear the tasbih of the food while we were eating. Right.
The brother earlier asked about the steps we can take to prevent haram.
Prevent
to help us with how to ask a question about hawa means how to...
Hawa, yes.
Yeah. What are the
Passion. How to prevent hawa. You should have an expert, speak about it. I'm going to speak from my side, which is not that good, I think hawa, I look at it, something occupy the heart. You should have much more stronger thing to occupy the heart and let it out, which is what? Love of Allah and love of His Messenger. These are the way, of kicking out the hawa. We have another way. We shouldn't be ignorant of it. I complain of this because we don't have it available a lot. Lack of tarbiyah. All of us, we have lack of tarbiyah. I am not murabba. I don't have tarbiyah. Even though I am that old, I don't have tarbiyah. Yani here, I trust these people, I'll give you an example. I did meet with some people that they see the Prophet in the awake state. For me, as a person, this is a very great thing, I'm going to put myself completely down for such a person. Out of my experience, because of lack of tarbiyah, we are going to have interference. But this interference is going to differ. Some they may have it 15%, the other one may have it 90%, and you name it. But here, I really look at tarbiyah as very important component. What do I mean by tarbiyah? As I said before, all of us, we have pile of good characters and we have pile of bad characters. Tarbiyah, to have a perfect sheikh, know how to treat you to get rid of those bad characters. And this has been summarized by the Sufi people as to have 4 deaths. Before you're expecting death, to have it 4 times. One is called white, the other one green, the third one red, and fourth one is black. And these are the main problems. The white one, hunger. Some of us, they have problem with eating, and they should have death, that's mean in their problem of eating. The other, they have problem in clothes, They are going to be quite proud, At this point, don't take it easy. One of the greatest companion woman, she had a dress, and when she put it on herself, her father told her, listen, Allah doesn't look at you at that moment. See how serious? We are not speaking about ordinary people. We are speaking about the greatest persons ever. When she had the dress, her father told her, Allah doesn't look at you. And this is, they call the green death, Those among us who are interested, in their clothes, they should have tarbiyah in this regard. Sayyidina Umar al-Khattab, the emperor, he used to have 11 holes, covered in his abaya or in his clothes, outer clothes. One of them was from leather. The other, they are cloth. One of them was leather, to cover these holes, in his abaya. And he was rich, at that time, in assumption. The third one, the red death. And this is directly to be against yourself, to be against your passion. And number 4, the black death, to tolerate the harm come from the others. You have some friend who may cause some trouble to you. You have some neighbor, you have some parents, you have some relatives, they may cause trouble to you. You should be completely dead, the black death, that you are not going to suffer from these matters. So you have these 4 deaths, don't ask me further about them because I'm not well experienced. But the whole point is tarbiyah. Most of us, we need tarbiyah. We don't have tarbiyah. What is tarbiyah? Tarbiyah, that when you have someone get used to something which block his way to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this blockage should be taken away. Other questions? Stop for prayer now.
You have a question?
Yes, go ahead.
There's a statement mentioned by Abdul Wahab al-Shahrani in his Al-Min al-Kubra, where he said that, and it was relating to you talking about how we should be dealing with others. And he mentioned that I overlook in part all of the creation of Allah, ta'zim lillah, and I overlook in part all of the nation of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, ta'zim li Rasulillah. He said that's one of the things that Allah favored in you. Can you
Yes.
expound more?
The first one is mentioned by another scholar. He said, I used to carry something which was looked as very negligible or dirty, among people, He did not mention what was it. And he used to have a sheikh, and the student of that sheikh, they said, you look at so and so, he carried this just to make tarbiyah of himself. And the sheikh said, don't give a rule, about this. Let us ask him. And when the sheikh asked that student who became a great sheikh, he said, no, I carried it because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He created it, He did not put it down, so I make ta'zim to it because this is the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? Then, about the Prophet, as you may know, Imam al-Shafi'i, a famous scholar, he said, من نال مني أو علقت بذمته أبرأت لله شاكر نعمته كي لا أرى ممن يعوق موحدا أو من يسوء محمدا في أمته. And he gave the 2 minutes, Anyone who has negative wrongdoing toward myself, materialistic, and he stole some money of me, or non-materialistic, I'm going to make him free and forgive him. Why? He said, because I don't like to block any one of those making tawheed, and this is ta'zim of Allah, this glorification of Allah, or not to make Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam feel sorry about some of his nation. Jazakallahu khairan.
Inshallah, with that, if there are no more questions, then we will conclude this event. So if there are any outstanding questions, please indicate by raising your hand. So I think by that we will... you have one more question?
Abu Dhar, Sayyidina Abu Dhar.
By this we conclude the event, and we'd like to thank you all for attending. Jazakumullahu khairan, and we'd like to thank our Sheikh Samir al-Nass for coming to us, and his son Ibrahim. This is really a great blessing to have him come to us, and we can't really express our thanks enough. And
I hope you have now better look, to those spiritual. I did not make it more confused, to you.
We didn't really, I think, this topic wasn't allotted enough time. The Sheikh, he was telling me that the material wouldn't be covered completely. So inshallah, we hope to probably do this event again sometime in the future, giving it more time. And inshallah, we hope to see you guys for that. And please, make a dua that Sheikh, he has a safe trip back home. He has a long trip. He's going back to England. From here, he's going to England for a tour, and then he'll be going back to his home in Damascus. So, Jazakallahu khairan, Sheikh. And please keep us all in your du'as.
Forgive me about any deficiency.
No, astaghfirullah, Sidi, you were just very generous with your time and with your knowledge, and may Allah Ta'ala protect you, preserve you, take care of you and your family, and inshallah may He increase you in strength and in health, and preserve your children and your wealth and your people back in Damascus. And so with that we will conclude. Salat al-Asr is close. And if you could say a short dua would be appreciated.
Make it you.
Bismillah.
My dua usually is long, you know, it's not going to be short.
Allah, just
Absolutely.
Fatiha ala Sharaf al-Nabi.
That.
Fatiha.